All right, I got another thing about Robert Saleh. He's in Tennessee. He hired Brian Daboll to be his offensive coordinator. Daboll could still go to the Raiders or somewhere else to be the head coach, but assuming he doesn't, I think it's interesting that Saleh chose an offensive coordinator who's not from the Shanahan and McVay tree. And D'Amico recently did the same thing. He fired Bobby Slowick last year and brought in Nick something or other from the Patriots, and they still suck on offense. They still suck. But I think it's interesting that these two defensive guys who are defensive gurus and know that system as well as anyone are moving away from it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I thought the Daboll thing was interesting. I think, Daboll, I think, really wanted that Buffalo job, and as soon as it went to Joe Brady, he was like, "All right, I'll take a coordinator job." He's thought to be a guy that had a lot of impact on Josh Allen's early development, and so maybe Saleh's seeing the same thing with Cam Ward. Hey, you know what? If Daboll can develop Josh Allen, if Daboll can help develop Jackson Dart, maybe he could do that with Cam Ward. I think, if you're Robert Saleh, the number one thing on your list is, since this is not your area, is to find an offensive coach that you think can develop your franchise quarterback, because you've already invested the first pick in the draft on that kid, and he has to work out. So I think it's really just a statement that Daboll's done it before, and this is the job, this is what's needed, and he thinks he can do it. I'm not sure if it's a statement like, I don't like Kyle's scheme. I think he's looking for a quarterback developer, somebody who can develop that kid quick.
It seems like what he's not as concerned about is the scheme. I mean, the scheme is great, but it seems like it helps a guy like Mac Jones or Sam Darnold, who's been in the league and just hasn't been exposed to those concepts. Like, Cam Ward needs development, and the Shanahan McVay tree doesn't necessarily specialize in that. Whereas Daboll's had some success with that. So I could understand. I mean, if your whole second stint as a head coach depends on the development of one player, maybe bring in a guy who with some track record. I mean, it's not Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick's never developed a quarterback, but Daboll has. So that makes sense to me. It may not be a scheme thing.
I'll say it shows a lot of confidence too by Saleh, because, and I think he wants to project confidence. If you hire a coach that's a nobody, everybody's like, "Oh, the head coach is insecure." But if you hire a coach that coached in New York and had a lot of success as an offensive coordinator, it says that you're confident in your job. And Robert's got a 5-year deal, so he should be confident.
And they probably know each other, considering they were in the same building in New Jersey.
Yeah, there's probably some relationship there. But I think it really has everything to do with Cam.